Uh, and we're back. Okay, so now we're looking at our second album. So hopefully you all.
What's it been, about a week since the last time we talked?
I think so. Shit.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask you how you're doing, but I assume you're all right. If you haven't, check out the first album. But before you check out the first album, make sure you hit that subscribe. And also, if you love us, buy our gear. We actually have a shop, and there's a link in the description below. All proceeds go absolutely nowhere because we don't know how to charge enough. But you can get these cool hats that I'm wearing that you can't see because I'm a cartoon. And yeah.
Maybe your cartoon will have the hat.
Maybe my cartoon should have the hat.
Yeah. Mine will just be bald.
We've gone through our first EP or album single, I don't know, which contained the tracks Touch My Penis, Silicone Implanted Toenails, and then Paper Cut. And we
don't forget Little Red Things Inside Green Olives.
Little Red Things Inside Green Olives. And we took those, we handed them out to people. We went to a gig. I walked around with a little amp Marc gave me that Christmas, and which I still have somewhere. And my guitar, and we would play songs at this, I don't know, open music at some fair your school is having.
Yeah.
We handed out these cassettes. And we were so stoked from that because I don't know. Actually, I do know. You were the same as me. Is we're there rummaging around being silly, and then there are actual bands playing, and we get so jealous of them, and we'd be like, you know, fuck it, we need to. We're not ballsy enough to step on a stage, but man, we could go and record more shit. So let's go record more shit. And then came our second album. So. If I'm looking at this right, was the second album From a Distance, Farmer Joe, I Fell in Love, and Demon Unleashed? Was that all on that album?
We did a single.
We did a single
where we did From a Distance. And then we also had And I Fell in Love.
All right. So this was our romantic combo, From a Distance, which blows my mind that this isn't our most popular song, because it's the song when I've done other bands that included Butt in it, always played this song. It's always an audience favorite because the lyrics are funny and
long time now.
This is me for the first time. We didn't do this before because we were in a multi-track mixer at this stage or something where we could do more than one input at once. Whereas on the original, we could only do one thing at a time. So this is me actually playing and singing simultaneously, which is so hard. And I love it because we make mistakes and we hear it. But yeah, we didn't break it down into multi-track until the next song. But what we did is we actually record multiple things simultaneously. You could plug in your bass, I could plug in the microphone, you could plug in the guitar. All go at once. Because we had a multi-input device on this song. And then we learned how to multi-track on the next song.
Yes.
This is a beautiful song. Slightly mean-spirited.
I remember this EP cover too. It was just a little cartoon drawing
of the boy touching a star.
Boy touching a star, standing on a hill, pointing toward some trees in the background.
And that's the only. In all the other versions, I usually finish what I'm saying, but I like on the original. It's like I just got to say, and we just hit cancel. We're done.
Was that part of the Budapest album?
No, we do it again in Budapest. Budapest was our third or fourth album.
Because I have a different version than that also.
You do. You have what you found
It was the version we did when we did I Fell in Love also.
The very first version. So I don't know what version that is. We should.
It's one of them.
We'll do a podcast where we just stack all the versions and try to put them chronologically, because that song has been re-recorded so many times.
Probably more than any other song we've recorded.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Love it. Great song.
Just because early on we did it three times
did
over
and over, and in 2008 we did it. It's always a
Touch My
song.
Penis again.
Yeah. But never the same. Whereas that song, because it had lyrics, it was easy. It had a verse chorus, whereas Touch My Penis was a wall of noise. And then we moved over to I Fell in Love. And this song it's always been a riot to me. Because this was when we figured out how to use your button track. And we figured we could slow and speed down our voices.
Yeah.
I don't even remember how, but we did something where we would record it. I think we'd have to record it fast. Yeah, because the timing was all fucked up. So we're recording at one speed.
I just have to say.
Right? And then you could go back and you could tell it to record high speed. And we would record some of it high speed. So that means we would have maybe half the time. Funniest.
Yeah, the trumpet solo.
You had this trumpet. And then, yeah, so then when we played the other stuff normal speed, while we recorded high speed, which was our normal recording, we were like, okay, let's do normal, and everything would be sped up. So we just have these voices, oh, baby, I love it. But we had to time it so it would come in right, because we couldn't hear it, because it was playing at a different speed.
Such high speeds, yeah.
All right, man. These are brand new.
So the next two songs. So where did Farmer Joe come from then? That was not
that
part
came from the Budapest album.
No, it didn't.
Are you sure?
Yeah, Budapest. At least from my stuff, Budapest had the sound check, the opener, paper cut, Silicon, guitar solo, Call for Butt, and From a Distance. All marked as live. So before, at least in my, and these probably came after, I don't know, but I have Farmer Joe, Demon Unleashed, bass solo.
See, I thought Farmer Joe and bass solo were all part of the Budapest.
No, because
and Demon Unleashed was the one thing we did with some other guys.
No, Demon Unleashed was just you and I.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was that the same time we did the Nacho song?
Demon Unleashed, I remember doing in your bedroom.
I'm thinking of a different one then.
Yeah, and Farmer Joe we did in your bedroom. So I think Farmer Joe and Demon Unleashed were done at a sleepover. So
hope you're ready to bang your head.
Oh, maybe it was Budapest.
Because it always had the same kind of sound to it.
Budapest we recorded in your living room in front of the TV. Whereas Farmer Joe and Demon Unleashed, I remember recording in your bedroom.
See, I remember recording some of this in your like playroom downstairs.
Yeah. That's how blurry your memories are.
Every night.
I always felt like I remember, in my memory, Farmer Joe and Demon Unleashed recorded at some period of time in your bedroom.
Okay.
I could be wrong. We both have terrible memories.
Yeah.
And this was...
Well, I know From a Distance was recorded in my bedroom because we used my brother's single.
Yeah.
Recorded on.
Yeah, so...
At the circus every weekend.
Yeah, I think Farmer Joe and Demon Unleashed we actually used to play the tape. Or it was like one of my sister's like old tapes. She was
One time the circus, the clown was walking in got hit with a big old pile of slit.
The lyrics, we never wrote anything down. The
Never.
lyrics were always
Whenever he
what came out of our head at the time. And like this song, we started with this
one
basic
boy said
idea.
you're fat
And I'm like,
full
I'm
of
gonna say something, but not say the dirty word. I'll say something else instead. And it's obvious what it is. But then it got hard. Like I'd say something, go shit. How do I write this? And you're full of slit. That's a word, right?
Yeah.
His wife was a big old.
So this definitely.
Oh yeah, and I tried to step on distortion and it didn't work.
Yeah.
I remember like
When you finally do step on it, it's like a different volume.
Yeah. I remember looking and trying to step on the yeah.
There it is. And I have my 6-string bass.
So yeah, you were just wailing your bass. Oh, and that ends that.
Yeah.
And then we go, I'll just let that one play out. So that goes into Demon Unleashed, which...
So this was part of another EP than the From a Distance and the... So we have to split this up into 2 podcasts.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, rewind. And with Farmer Joe, we ended that little meet. So I think, yeah, we had I Fell in Love, From a Distance, Farmer Joe roughly together at the same time.
Yes.
And we put those out. And that was, you go from our first album, Touch My Penis, Silk on Planet, Toenails, Paper Cut, where there really is no structure. And instantly, our second little mini EP, which is probably weeks later, we now have songs and verses. We have verse, chorus, verses. And, the musicmanship as far as like, your bass playing, is awesome. Like there's notes and harmony. And even though we have that paper cut, but it really comes through. And
we're overdubbing vocals where we're singing a cappella.
All this stuff. And
trumpet.
While it felt like a million miles apart, like all this stuff happened in a really brief window of time. And it's kind of really fascinating to see how quickly we evolved from recording on a boombox to going straight up to like, hey, we have a multi-track. What can we do? Hey, let's plug everything in at once and play. Hey, wait, actually, we could play an overdub and play an overdub. And all this amazing equipment, which is like a dime a dozen now. But at the time was really rare and cool. And not only did we fight really hard to get our hands on stuff from borrowing or whatever, or buying. I can't even remember how we got this stuff, but we really had the time. It was a cool time being a teenager to just sit there and like, how the fuck did this shit work? And you hear that story of like lots of bands, but Jeff Walker from Carcass going on their first album, they were playing kind of like some music and stuff, and some guys like, oh, let's go record. And they went in the studio and they saw all this gear they'd never seen before. And they found like octavers and all this stuff. He's like, oh, I'm going to put my voice through this and blah, blah, blah. They're just playing with all this stuff, which is why it has that weird sound. But that was just teenagers being really excited in a studio, looking at cool, fun gear they've never touched. And that's kind of, I think, how we were at the time. And I think we're still that way today. It's just, we're old.
Less time to really deep dive into figuring out how stuff works.
Yep. But it was a cool time. Cool. All right. Well, we'll wrap that one up. And next time we'll come back, we'll look at, I don't know where we are, maybe our third album, fourth album, where we slow it down again. We and do our first acoustic track. And leading into that, we head towards doing our first pseudo live album. So tune in next time. Make sure don't hit the subscribe button if you've already hit it, because that will probably unsubscribe you. But if
not a good idea.
If you happen to be sitting next to someone who has an account on YouTube, just switch over to their system, hit subscribe for them, because this content's probably really important to them. They just don't know it yet. And buy our merch, buy our hats before I decide to stop selling them. See ya. Peace.
Peace.